Happy Friday.
Yeah, my name is Megan. I'm with Don's Tree Service, and this is
Doni, also known as Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service.
And we are so happy that you guys are tuned in this morning. We got our live going.
Yep.
And I will say, we know we're a little bit behind schedule today.
Just a tad. Yeah.
But we still wanted to show up, make sure that we continue on this, keep this momentum going, and be able to do chapter 5 of
Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And if you're Spanish, it is
los hábitos de la gente altamente efectiva.
She did a better job than I would have done. But before we get started, can I just say thank you to our team that put together our studio. We are now, instead of, Tree Talk with Doni and Megan, it will be The Climb by Donnie Jones. But I don't even want to say by Donnie Jones. I want to say by our team, because it took a team to put this together. So I want to give a real big shout out to Augusto, Juan, Ayud, Carlos, and anybody else that made this possible for us. So we're really excited about things to come in the future. And just want to give them a little shout out, give them a little love.
Huge shout out. Huge shout out. Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Very grateful.
Chapter
5, which is on the public victories. So we already talked about the private victories where you work on yourself, you work on being more effective in your own life and for your own personal life. And then once you get better at those, then it moves into the public victories. So this is when you're going to start working with people and finding ways to communicate better, to work better, and to create better relationships and what Stephen Covey calls interpersonal relationships.
Yep, interpersonal relationships. And I'll tell you right now, we couldn't do what we do without interpersonal relationships.
KK, by the way, it's interdependent. I apologize.
Interdependent relationships.
Yeah. And that looks like, instead of just being independent, where you're all for yourself and you don't need anyone, which that is a thing, and you can be strong in that. But you can be even stronger when you have interdependence.
That's right.
Someone who's independent, where you're not dependent on other people to be able to survive, to be able to do what you need to do. You're proactive about your life, and you take responsibility for your actions, for what you do, for the things that you're focused on in your world. Once you become independent, you have the choice of becoming interdependent.
Yes.
So it goes from me to we.
Yeah. Yes. Us is a much better option in my opinion, as opposed to me. I love working with we. And I feel like the way that looks in business, especially with what we do, is that sure, I could go out and try to do all the estimates. I could try to make all the decisions and try to grow the company and just be all single focused with just my ideas. But when we bring a team of people together and I depend on them for their expertise and also to help, give me some guidance on areas that I might be a little bit soft on, that interdependence creates a stronger team. And also creates trust too, because it's not just, oh, this was my idea and we're going with my idea. It's like, oh, I'm trusting you. I'm choosing to trust you because of the value that you bring to the team.
Exactly. Yeah. You can do a whole lot more as a team than you can alone.
Yeah.
So the first habit that we talked about in public victories was about the win-win philosophy. So coming together, you're in a negotiation, you're just in any kind of relationship with someone. Stephen Covey talks about looking for ways so that both of y'all win. So not just trying to go with your idea and not just trying to go with the other person's idea. It's looking at what both party needs and saying, what if we create a third solution that is even better than what we were thinking originally?
Yeah. Well, it makes me think about, I was listening to this gentleman on YouTube, and he was a relationship expert. And he said, there's a situation sometimes where you'll see a couple or two people that are fighting over a limit. And both of them are like, I want the limit, but there's only one limit. And they're like, but I want the limit, but I want the limit. And there's this tug of war over this one limit. Whereas if they would just kind of pause for a second and go, well, what do you want the lemon for? And the wife goes, well, I want the lemon to make lemonade.
Mhm.
And the husband goes, well, I just want the lemon zest
Mhm.
from the lemon so that I could finish this cake that I'm making. Well, guess what? If they both step back and have a conversation of why they want to utilize the lemon, they both can get what they want. And I think a lot of times when you're in relationship with people or you're building a team, there's many situations that are like that way
Yeah.
where you're having this tug of war. Whereas if you were to communicate, both people could get what they want. You
Yeah.
know?
And honestly, listening to what they say that you want.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, and it's something that I'm working on, is I have a tendency to think that other people are seeing the world the same way I am. And I think, like, let us know if y'all have ever experienced this where you think, oh, well, that's obvious, right? Like, obviously, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. So, why aren't they understanding why we're not going to do it this way? Like, why are they pushing back? It's so clear. And that's actually what the second habit of public victories, which would be the fifth habit in the book, is about. It's saying, okay, take a step back and let me listen to understand before looking to be understood. Yeah. So what does that look like for
Well,
you?
it reminds me of a story, and I feel like we do that a lot here. But I also know that there's been situations where I haven't done that as effectively. So I'll bring up a subject, especially when it comes to sales and our numbers, and I'm like, we need to hit these numbers, and we need to do this and X, Y, Z, right? And I've got this idea of what I want it to look like. And I think I've completely shared exactly what that's supposed to look like. And then I'll look at you guys and you're like, wait, how are we going to get there?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so I sometimes have to step back and go, wait a minute. I'm asking for them to understand me, but I haven't even given myself the opportunity to understand them and what their needs are. And so in the book, Stephen talks about a gentleman who's talking to his son. And he mentions, I was talking to my son, and he won't tell me what he needs. And I'm trying to talk to him and tell him what he needs to do so he can get what he wants, And Stephen,
said,
yeah.
Like, I don't understand him. He's not listening to me.
He's not listening. Exactly. I don't understand him. He's not listening to me. If you really take a pause and gather what he's saying, what Stephen's saying is that, well, you should be looking to you should be looking to understand him. And the only way that happens is if you give your son, in this case, the opportunity to explain himself, And I think that is such a powerful story in the book.
Yeah. So it's taking that, I don't understand him. They're not understanding me.
Yeah.
And changing it to, I'm not understanding them. Let me listen to them rather than trying to get them to listen to me.
Yeah.
Before they even know I care.
Yeah.
And someone I think that does this so incredibly well is Tony Robbins.
Oh, so good.
Like, if you listen to any of his content, but especially his interventions, before he gives anyone any advice, he asks questions.
Yeah.
And I know I can learn so much from that because, I love to learn and I love to help people. Mm-hmm. But I'm learning more and more that people really don't care what you have to say until they know how much you care.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not just listening to be like, yeah, that's
waiting
really
for
good.
your chance to talk. Yeah.
And you're just like planning in your head, like, oh, okay, so they're gonna need help with this, they're gonna need help with this, they're gonna want that. It's what lens are they looking through?
Yeah.
What things do they really care about?
Yeah.
And it's listening with empathy, and that's the second part of the chapter.
So good. Can I interject? Because it's something that, as when you guys were kids, that we used to talk about a lot, that people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
If a person doesn't feel like you care about them,
Why
exactly.
should I care about what you have to say?
Exactly. And that also makes them less likely to take your advice.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we see somebody in need and we know we've got this advice that could help them. But before you even try to do that, do the people even know that you care about them?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to grandstand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think something I've definitely fallen into is trying to show people I care through helping them in ways that I would want.
Mhm.
So sometimes for me this would look like, we talk a lot, and sometimes like I'll read something, I'm like, oh my god, she would love this information.
Mhm.
And then I'll just like pour it onto you before asking, like, hey, I know this area was something that you were working on. Is that still something you care about? How has that been affecting you?
Mhm.
And then Alison Armstrong talks about putting the imaginary duct tape over your mouth
Mhm.
and just shutting up and listening. Because it's so easy to be, I ask those questions and I'm like, okay, once you finish.
And she does actively listen, because if she asks you a question or has a comment, as soon as she's quiet, she's like, you're like, oh, I got to come up with an answer. Right?
Yeah. I think I can work on that too, because sometimes that intensity is because I have a goal in the conversation. I have a how I want to help. But I think something I can do even better is if I ask a question, instead of being like, I'm just gonna wait for the answer that I'm like looking for and I'm gonna pounce on it. And I think we do this as salespeople too, right?
We do it as salespeople.
Like we look for those moments of like, oh, okay, we're gonna bring this back up later on. And that is part of sales, but it's a very different feeling when you're just, doing the kind of reactionary listening. You're like, that's really good. So you're saying,
but people can feel that.
Yeah. When you're like, okay, I'm just doing a script versus, tell me more about that. Like, what has that been like for you?
A honest curiosity. Honest curiosity. But you going back to sales, I really believe that matters in sales too.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing in sales. And I think our sales team, we really do focus on active listening, but listening with sincerity. I can't tell you how many times, and I mean, we've been in business 26 years now. And I can tell you, there's been a lot of times when I get to someone's house and they've already had several other tree services come by and they're like, yeah, the guy told me I need to cut all these trees down. But because I'm actively listening, what she just said was, the guy told me I need to cut all these trees down. She didn't say she wanted to cut all these trees down. So sometimes I'll step back and go, well, you know what? What are your goals? What do you want to do? And a lot of times they'll say, well, actually, I only wanted those two, but they want to cut down these 6. And I just only wanted those 2. I just wanted to get some more grass in this area, that they felt like these were too close to the house. But I really don't mind them. I've been in the house for 30 years and the trees don't bother me. Yeah. And they're healthy trees. So if we can have conversations like that in business, I think it's even more important to have those kind of conversations in our personal life,
Yeah.
Active, empathetic listening.
Yeah. And it's not, like Covey talks about, it's not performative. And it's not trying to say the right things or, impress on somebody that you're like, I'm really listening to you right now. Like whatever I'm grabbing onto every single word and
like, I've got a plan for you.
I am listening to you.
Yeah.
Can't you tell?
Can't you see it? Can you feel me?
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's not that. That I think would be some kind of considered like active listening. Like you're really thinking. Yeah. But empathetic listening, I think, is even more of a skill, to be able to empty your mind.
Yes.
And that takes another skill of like being able to quiet your mind, like letting the dust settle so you can actually take in what they're saying. Because sometimes, if I have 1,000, thoughts going on and I'm trying to listen to you, I'm like, right. Yeah, that's a great point. Can you repeat what you said? Because my brain is not there. Versus like settling down and saying, Tell me.
Yeah. And that's a skill. That's a skill. All these things that we're talking about, which is, it's amazing how there's been all these people that have come before us that have put all this information in books, or in this case, a lot of times now the internet.
Yeah.
And these are YouTube. I love some YouTube because I used to have a problem with that. And I would actually say sometimes I still have a problem with that. Quieting your mind so that you can be fully present, not just for your clients, but for your family, because I remember when you guys were younger, and we were in the early stages of growing the business, I would have customers calling. I'm trying to drive and do an estimate, which you shouldn't do that. Do not drive and text, and you guys are in the background saying you're hungry. I just picked you up from school and you want to go to Chick-fil-A, and I'm trying to get to an estimate, as opposed to just taking a deep breath,
Mm-hmm.
quieting my mind and then addressing each situation, whether it's the customer that's on the phone, whether it's the paperwork that I've got to get, or in your case, or you and your sister's case, quieting my mind and turning around and going, hey, are you guys hungry? You
Mm-hmm.
know, and taking that moment, just a beat. And a lot of times it doesn't take as long as we think it takes to just quiet our mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to release things and understand that imperfection is okay. And I think we get caught up in wanting to be perfect, and so we have all these things going around our brain going, I got to do this, I got to do that. But when you're trying to understand another human being, it's important to let that go for that moment so you can be fully present, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think now more than ever, there's so much information out there that's like, be present, open your mind, be still. And yeah, I know for myself, for a long time, I was like, okay, how do I do that?
Mm,
My mind is almost a lot more in the past, but it used to always go be like boom, 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 boom.
yeah.
And I didn't know how to actually quiet my mind. So people would say that, and I'm like, okay, can
Can somebody give me some
technically,
instructions?
how do I
Yeah,
do that?
yeah.
And right now I'm reading The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher.
Oh, so
Marvelous book. And one of the things he talks about are these things called small talks.
good.
And it's essentially just a little conversation you have with yourself. And what it looks like is it could be a phrase, it could be a word. It's just a small reminder. It's like memory recall of reminding yourself of why you're there. If I want to go into a meeting and my goal is to understand the other person's need and not get defensive if they question, why I'm bringing up something, that might look like, if my goal is that, I might say to myself, listen to understand. And it just recalibrates me. So
Mhm.
if I'm start going like, well, why would they ask me that question? Obviously, I'm here to do this and do this. Like, can't they tell? It's just that little reminder. It's called small talk. You just say, listen to understand. Or what do they care about? Or be still.
Mm.
And it takes me out of going through that little spiral of me, why, like getting defensive, getting worked up, to, okay, I know I'm here. Let me actually listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it completely changes the way the conversation goes. Because I might feel myself start getting worked up and I can just release it.
Yeah.
And he also talks about just breathing.
Mm.
You
I
do
was
two
going to say
seconds
that.
in. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say breathing. And one of the things I like about what you just mentioned is that we do, like, if you follow, by the way, if you're still here, we would love it if you subscribed to our channel, and thank you for being here, and leave a comment if you'd like. But we watch a lot of motivational content, inspirational content. We read books, like, we are all about it. But the thing I love most is when you take that information and make it useful. And one of the things I love about what you do is you'll read all these books, but you'll take nuggets and actually make them useful. You'll do them in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and I've admired that about you. And I'm focusing on doing more of that. Like, I went through this thing where breathing was my thing. So I'm breathing, but then
Zen
I'm not
mommy.
releasing
Yes.
it. So going back to what yeah, exactly. I'm breathing, but releasing it, And this morning we have a company meeting the first Friday of every morning, and I had an idea of what this presentation was going to be, and I had got it all written up in ChatGPT, and then I moved it to Canva, and it wouldn't move to Canva, and I started to feel myself getting agitated because I wanted to be present for our team, and I wanted to be able to do a good presentation for our team. And so, going back to what you said, I had to take a deep breath. I had to settle my mind. So tactically, one of the best ways to settle your mind is to take a deep breath and be still. One of my favorite things to say to myself is be still and know that I am God. And I just, meaning God is speaking to me, or I'm feeling God's presence with me. And so it would either be still or be still and know that I am God. I have to do that when it's a lot of crazy stuff, but be still. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps tremendously. So if you'll try that and it works, if you try that and it works for you, definitely come back and leave a comment. And we love hearing from you. And once again, thank you for watching. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just to wrap everything up.
Yes.
And make sure we hit on everything so far. The 5th chapter is all about listening to understand before looking to be understood.
Mm.
And the basis of that, the foundation of it, is in empathic listening. So, empathetic listening, where you're putting yourself aside for a minute and you're saying, I'm going to focus on this person. I'm going to give them my attention, and I'm not going to try to push my lens of the world onto them. I'm going to really try to find out what this world is looking like for them. What are they experiencing that I'm missing? Because if we were both on the same page, if we were like this, there wouldn't be this.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
So listening to understand before looking to be understood, and then empathetically listening, or empathic listening. Empathic is more like I feel you,
right?
But empathetic listening, where you just really care, and it's a skill, and it's as the book says, it's a habit. So it's gonna be rough at first, because that first hurdle of getting yourself to start doing it takes the most energy.
Yeah.
And then over weeks, over months, over years, it becomes automatic. Yeah. So instead of automatically going to getting defensive or just throwing up your hands and be like, guess they're never going to understand, because that's happened. Going back to the drawing board,
yeah,
and saying, well, no wonder they don't understand, because I don't understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
This is almost everyone wants to be understood, wants to be seen, wants to be heard, and wants to know that there's somebody on their corner.
That's right.
I
think this is the next Tony Robbins. I'm just saying. You don't see Megan Jones's name in lights, but also the being interdependent. It's great to be dependent. Independent. It is incredible to be able to be independent. But I have found in my own life, it's more important and it's more useful, and it's much more fulfilling to be interdependent. It really is. It's a great thing. It really is. And really check this book out. And even though we've already gone through a few chapters, it would be awesome. Just go to Amazon, or you can go to Audible. Audible is the jam. Yes, Audible is the jam. But download this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And we've got some other favorites that we'll be talking about in the future. But this is our way of connecting with you. We want to hear from you so that we understand, and we make sure we're putting out content that you appreciate and that you like, and also just to connect and share our hearts and our minds. Yeah.
Well, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, and look forward to continuing on this journey of learning and growing and just making the world a little bit better by taking care of our little piece of it.
That's right. Work hard, play hard, be kind.
Woo! Bye, y'all.